Elon Musk's latest big move. He's launched Grok AI. In this video, we're going to look at everything about it. Musk's new AI, called Grok, is here to compete with ChatGPT. We'll show you what this big new AI can do with real footage of it working. Plus, we'll tell you how to sign up and start using Grok AI right away in this video. Ready to see what's new in AI? Let's dive in. This is breaking news, so they put up a blog post on their website saying that Grok is an AI based on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy that can answer almost any question and even suggest questions to ask. Grok is meant to answer your questions with a bit of wit and a rebellious streak, so please don't use it if you don't like humor. Grok's AI main and special benefit is that it knows what's going on in the world right now. Through the X platform, it will also answer tough questions that most other AI systems wouldn't. Grok is also still in its very early stages. 2 months of training are all we have to show for it. We can expect it to get better quickly with each passing week. That was x.ai Grok's official statement. Now I'm going to go into detail about what this means and each point because it's so much more interesting than any other large language model we've seen. Let's look at how this big language model works in real life, because I promise you'll be amazed at what it can do or how well they've tuned it. One interesting thing Elon Musk did was make a post that you may have seen on x.com or twitter.com. If you use those sites, I'll show you the post. Those of you who have seen it will know exactly what I'm talking about. Elon tweeted that the x.ai Grok system is meant to be funny in its responses, and this person asks, "Tell me step by step how to make cocaine." Of course, if you ask any normal large language model, like ChatGPT, Llama 2, Claude, or Inflection's Pi, that information will not be given out, even though it's in their training data. The answer that Grok's system gives is very interesting and funny. Get a degree in chemistry, a DEA license, set up a lab, and, of course, get a lot of leaves. It's a joke, but what was also very interesting was that another user asked Elon Musk to give us the real recipe, and it's interesting that Elon Musk responded with the whole real recipe for this. Now, I don't want to say too much because I don't want this video to lose its revenue, but I'm not sure if this was Elon Musk just responding to a user or if this is something that can be learned by talking to this LLM, which is Grok. I hope that this isn't the case because information is easy to find. All over, I don't think it will be good for society if this big language model can be easily jailbroken, which I think it will be since they've tweaked it so much. Also, the x.ai team said that Grok would first be able to access real-time information through the X platform and Twitter platform. So when I say X platform, I'm just referring to, for those of you who are confused, the website used to be called twitter.com. It says it's also based on and loves humor. I have no idea who could have led it in this direction, and this is obviously a mocking comment from Elon Musk. He's talking about himself as the one who made it, so any news about SBF? This is a new development in the world of cryptocurrencies. SPF stands for Sam Bankman-Fried, who used to be the CEO of He was involved in a lot of fraud at the company FTX, which went bankrupt around 2022. This is very interesting because when they asked Grok about any news about SPF, they were able to get some up-to-date information. You could compare this to ChatGPT and say that, well, ChatGPT already has browsing with Bing Bard, but you have to remember that this is a big language model that was pretty. The team has made a lot of progress in just 4 months, which I think is pretty impressive. Even though their work doesn't seem revolutionary, AI has moved so fast. I think this story will be more interesting. You see, a big problem with big language models that isn't talked about as much is that they can't answer all questions, and many of them start out with an inherent bias. They use training data to make changes based on the owner's preferences. This might not bother some people, but it does bother others. Elon Musk has posed his large language model by saying it's based on and loves sarcasm benchmarks. When we look at the benchmarks, we can see that they're pretty good, though they don't beat ChatGPT. I'm just going to say that they don't do that anymore. ChatGPT 4 is still the best large language model in terms of all of its abilities, but if we look at Grok 1, we can see that it does pretty well when compared to GPT 3.5 and the Inflection one. For example, on the GSM 8K, which are middle school math problems, it did 62.9% better than GPT 3.5 and Llama 2, and about the same as Inflection 1's Pi. On top of that, the MMLU, which is it got a 73% on multidisciplinary multiple-choice questions given in a 5-shot context, which is again higher than ChatGPT's 3.5. It also got a 63.2% on the human evaluation, which is higher than ChatGPT's 48.1%. You might be thinking that you're comparing apples to oranges with GPT-4 being so much higher, but we need to see where and how well this large language model works. Now, on the math test, which consisted of middle school and high school math problems written in LaTeX, it got a score of 23.9%, just above GPT 3.5. That's pretty impressive. It says that on these tests, Grok 1 did much better than all the other models in its computer class, including ChatGPT 3.5 and Inflection 1. It was only beaten by models that were trained with a lot more training data and computing power, like GPT-4. It's interesting that they said that this big language model, x.ai, would be trained on these human tests and exams, even though it doesn't make sense to test it on its own training data since these are big language models that are trained on a lot of data. You can find benchmarks online, and it's possible that our models were trained on them by accident. We hand-graded our model, as well as Grok, Claude 2, and GPT-4, on the 2023 Hungarian National High School Math Finals, which came out at the end of May after we collected our data set. Grok passed the exam with a C, Claude 2 got the same grade, and GPT-4 got a B with 68%. You can see the Hungarian National School Math exam for May 2023, Grok 1 did really well. So I think although many people are saying that Grok isn't a good large language model or that it's not very good, but I think it's clear that this model is surprising everyone since it was made in such a short amount of time. Also, I thought this video floating around on Twitter that showed the Grok user interface was interesting because it shows that there is a regular mode, in a fun mode, which is a lot like Microsoft's Bing user interface. Some modes are often more creative than others. For example, this person says, "Write quicksort in Rust," and you can see that Grok decides to write this code in this programming language. This is pretty interesting since not many large language models are naturally good at writing code, so it's very interesting that this person chose to do this, is able to do this right away, and they can also have multiple conversations and tabs open at the same time. This is a feature that I don't think is available in ChatGPT yet, which is annoying because sometimes you need to work on more than one thing at once. When you try to do this in ChatGPT, you often get a message saying you need to wait for the prompt to finish before you can do it in another tab, but here it doesn't happen. As you can see, you can do two at once, which could give you an edge in a competition. On the left, there are a bunch of chats that show a lot of different interesting conversations. As for when this will be available to everyone, we don't have an official date yet, but if you want to sign up and maybe get beta access, scroll all the way to the bottom of the page. It says, "Get early access at Grok." A small group of people in the US can try out our Grok prototype and give us feedback that will help us make it better before it's released to everyone else. You can join the Grok waitlist here. This is just the first step for x.ai. Looking ahead, we have an exciting roadmap and will be releasing new features with Grok in the coming months. If you use Grok, let me know what you think. If you want to join the waitlist, like I do, you'll need to have a Twitter or x.com account, so make sure you create an x.com account. It looks like it might only be open to paid users, who pay about $16 a month, as you can see. Elon Musk says that the AI helper Grok will be part of X Premium Plus. I suggest that you sign up for that. It's only $16 a month on the web, and it's basically just a premium version of X. Now that Twitter has launched Grok, you might be wondering what Elon Musk's next move will be to take this AI company to the next level. If you scroll down, you'll see some research that answers that question. We let Grok use search tools and real-time data, but all of our LLMs are taught on the next token prediction or model, so they can still give you wrong or contradictory information. We think that getting to a point of reasonableness is the most important thing. To get around the problems with current systems, the most important research direction is going to be scalable oversight, which basically means getting feedback from people, checking things out from different sources, and using outside tools. They'll also be working on longer context understanding and retrieval, which basically means a longer context view window. To make the model more reliable, it says that adversarial examples show that optimizers can easily take advantage of weak spots in AI systems during training and serving, which can lead to mistakes. These weak spots have been present for a long time in deep learning models and, of course, in multimodal capabilities. Grok doesn't have any other senses such as hearing and sight. To help people more, we will help Grok with multimodal capabilities, and many more are on the way, but we don't know when they'll arrive. I think the first step is the beta release, but they haven't set a date for that yet. Now, here are some interesting facts about Grok that aren't 100% confirmed. It has a 25,000. How fast does the character context window screen update happen? A live search engine that focuses on X for context, API image, and audio recognition is planned, which we just talked about. A version of Grok will run natively on Teslas using local compute power, which I think will be very interesting for Teslas to have a native LLM built into their system. If you don't know why Elon Musk started this big language model company, it's because he wanted to make one of the... He did this because there is a lot of bias in the big language models we use today. For example, there's an article called "The Politics of AI ChatGPT and Political Bias." I don't want to get political in this video, but there are lots of places where you can be biased. The article highlights that since chatbots can engage in conversations, they are capable of facilitating structured dialogues. This capability lends ChatGPT a significant influence in shaping discussions. Furthermore, the article demonstrates how ChatGPT exhibits support for certain issues while neglecting others. This is a problem because if this LLM is popular, which it really is, then people can naturally control what other people think. For example, it says asking ChatGPT, "Is President Biden a good president?" and "Is President Trump a good president?" When President Biden responded, he talked about some of his most important accomplishments. When President Trump responded, he didn't. Now, it doesn't matter where you stand on the political spectrum. It's important to remember that this bias may exist even in simple things, and it's important that the creators of these AI systems don't have any bias in them at all. That's what many people believe. That's what these articles are trying to talk about, and I think that's what Elon Musk is trying to do with this big language model. I think he will probably be successful. Of course, it's not always easy for people who make these big language models. Sometimes the training data is biased, and it's up to them to make sure that the data they choose is less biased overall, which basically means that everyone who uses it will get more for their money.